It all started with a dare. A stupid, reckless dare. Mia, Tom, and I were never ones to back down from a challenge, especially not when it involved the legendary ghost ship Mariana. Locals whispered about it, a phantom vessel said to drift aimlessly in the treacherous waters off the coast. They said it was haunted, cursed by the souls lost in a tragic storm decades ago. Of course, we didn't believe a word of it. The sun was already beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long, ominous shadows across the choppy waves as we approached the coordinates on our map. A thick fog rolled in, swallowing the last rays of sunlight and shrouding the sea in an eerie silence. "You sure this is the place, Tom?" Mia asked, her voice barely a whisper. Tom, ever the optimist, just grinned and pointed towards a dark, hulking shape emerging from the mist. "There she is, lads, the Mariana in all her glory." His words seemed to hang in the air, heavy with unspoken dread. As we drew closer, the true scale of the ship became terrifyingly clear. It was a rotting carcass of its former self, masts broken, sails ripped to shreds, and the once bright paint now peeling and faded. A shiver ran down my spine. This wasn't just a ship, it was a graveyard. We circled the Mariana, hesitant to get too close. The silence was deafening, broken only by the gentle lapping of waves against the hull and the mournful cries of gulls circling overhead. We were three teenagers about to do something incredibly stupid, but there was no turning back now, not with Mia egging us on, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of fear and excitement. The Mariana was a three-masted schooner, once a majestic vessel that sailed the seven seas. Now she was a rotting hulk, her glory days nothing more than a distant memory. Barnacles clung to her sides like grotesque tumors, and seaweed swayed ominously beneath the waterline. The name Mariana was still faintly visible on the stern, the letters warped and faded like a forgotten dream. We secured our small boat to a rusted cleat dangling precariously from the ship's side and cautiously climbed aboard. The deck was treacherous, littered with debris and rotten planks that threatened to crumble under our weight. The salty air stung our nostrils, thick with the stench of decay and something else, something ancient and unwelcoming. "This place is creepy," Mia whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Even Tom seemed to have lost some of his bravado, his eyes darting nervously around the deserted deck. We cautiously made our way towards the main hatch, each step echoing through the deathly silence. As I pushed open the heavy, iron-wrought door, a cold gust of wind slammed against us, almost like a warning. The air inside was stagnant and thick with dust, cobwebs clinging to every surface like ghostly shrouds. The only light came from the setting sun, filtering in through cracks in the boarded-up windows, casting long, distorted shadows that danced and flickered like phantoms. We exchanged uneasy glances, the enormity of what we had done suddenly sinking in. We were trapped. The realization hit us like a physical blow. We were trapped. We hadn't accounted for the tide. While we were exploring the Mariana, the water level had risen, and our small boat, our only means of escape, had come loose. It now bobbed mockingly a dozen feet away from the ship, just out of reach. "Don't panic," Tom said, his voice strained. He was trying to sound calm, but I could hear the tremor in his voice. We scrambled to the edge of the ship, our hearts pounding against our ribs. The gap between the Mariana and the pier seemed to widen with every passing second. "We're stranded," Mia whispered, her voice laced with a terror I'd never heard before. The sun had vanished below the horizon now, and darkness was closing in fast, shrouding the ship in an impenetrable blanket of black. The air grew colder, the silence amplifying every creak and groan of the aging vessel. We were alone, stranded on a haunted ship, with the night closing in around us. Fear, raw and primal, tightened its grip. "We're going to die here, aren't we?" Mia choked out, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't have an answer for her. All I could do was try to ignore the icy fingers of fear crawling up my spine and focus on finding a way out of this nightmare. But deep down, a terrifying thought took root. Maybe some legends are true.
If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel.